Although the scoreline reads 2-0 in Arsenal's favor at the Estadio de San Mamés, it wasn't the straightforward domination it seemed. For long spells, Ernesto Valverde's athletic club pressed hard, unsettled Arsenal, and threatened to change the game. Yet somehow Mikel Arteta's men adapted, shifted their approach, and found the tactical edge to secure the win. Welcome to Tactical Analysis. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe so you never miss any of my uploads. But the real question is, what exactly did Arsenal change to take control? Let's find out. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal lined up in their usual 4-3-3, but with Martin Odegaard out injured, the midfield trio consisted of Declan Rice, Mikel Merino, and Martin Zubimendi. On the other side, Ernesto Valverde's athletic club set up in a 4-2-3-1, with Navarro stepping in to replace the injured Nico Williams. In the build-up phase, Arsenal looked to progress the ball from the back while bypassing Athletic Club's press. Arteta's backline frequently transformed from a traditional back four into a situational back five. This was achieved in two ways, either with David Raya stepping up as an auxiliary outfield player, or with Declan Rice dropping deeper to join the defensive line. As a result, Arsenal's shape often shifted into a 5-3-3 when Raya advanced, and into a 5-2-3 when Rice slotted into defense. Both fullbacks pushed wide, aiming to stretch the pitch and force Athletic Club's press to cover more ground horizontally. Valverde's men, however, didn't commit to an aggressive, man-oriented press. Instead, they applied pressure in a compact 4-4-2 mid-block. Their pressing trap was designed to overload Arsenal's midfield, consistently creating numerical superiority, situations of 4 versus 2, 4 versus 3, and at times even 6 versus 3 in central areas. For example, when Rice dropped into the backline, Arsenal were left with only Zubimendi as the single pivot in midfield. This allowed Athletic Club to collapse centrally, often creating a 4 versus 1 overload, forcing Arsenal to circulate possession wide, recycle through the backline, or attempt direct long balls. To counter this midfield disadvantage, Arsenal occasionally inverted a full-back into central zones, forming a temporary box midfield. This adjustment turned the overload around, from 4v3 against Arsenal to 4v4. One key example came when Calafiori tucked inside from the left, combining with Merino, Rice, and Zubimendi to establish a midfield box. This created central balance and helped Arsenal regain numerical parity against Athletic Club's midfield line. When Athletic Club were in possession, they alternated between building out from the back and launching direct long balls into Iñaki Williams or one of their forward runners. In structured build-up, the full-backs, Adama Boiro and Andoni Gorosabel, pushed high and wide, hugging the touchlines to create maximum width. This was designed to stretch Arsenal's pressing shape horizontally and provide wider passing lanes, effectively forming a 4-3-3 structure in the first phase. Arsenal, in response, defended in a compact 4-4-2 mid-to-high block. Mikel Merino stepped alongside Victor Gyökeres to form the first line of pressure, while Eberechi Eze and Noni Madueke tucked into midfield, creating a narrow four-man block. Their pressing scheme was predominantly man-oriented in midfield, but with an emphasis on vertical and horizontal compactness rather than expansive coverage. One sequence illustrates this well. As soon as Danny Vivian received the ball, Gyökeres immediately jumped to press him, cutting off central progression. Instead of rushing to close down Gorosabel, Eza intelligently held his position on Berenguer, maintaining Arsenal's man orientations and preventing Athletic from finding their winger between the lines. This forced Vivian into a predictable lateral pass to Gorosabel. The moment the pass was released, Eze shifted across with pressing trigger timing, closing Gorosabel down aggressively and denying him time or space. With no viable options, Gorosabel was forced into an error, playing the ball out of play. When Athletic attempted to bypass Arsenal's press with direct balls into Iñaki Williams or the forward line, Arsenal's high defensive line and the aerial dominance of their center backs neutralized the threat, making it difficult for Athletic to establish territory in the final third. In attack, Arsenal employed two primary approaches: rapid counterattacks and positional attacks in numbers. When successfully bypassing Athletic Club's press, Arsenal advanced five players into the final line, creating a 5-3-2 attacking structure. In these moments, Michael Merino and one of the fullbacks stepped up to join Eberechi Eze, Noni Madueke, and Victor Gyökeres, ensuring Arsenal had sufficient occupation of the last line. On the right flank, Madueke often stayed wide to pin the opposition fullback, while Jurrien Timber moved into the half space, either making overlapping runs or positioning himself as a progressive passing option. On the left side, Riccardo Calafiori pushed forward aggressively, with Timber holding his place in midfield to maintain rest defense stability. When Calafiori advanced, Eze drifted inside into the half space, while Calafiori hugged the touchline to act as a de facto winger. This created positional rotations and stretched Athletic Club's defensive block, allowing quick combinational play between Calafiori and Eze in the channel. When Arsenal looked to go more direct, their early attempts were ineffective. Many of the long balls in behind Athletic's high defensive line left Gyökeres isolated, as both Madueke and Eze were positioned deeper in the build-up and unable to support quickly. This meant most counter-attacking opportunities fell to Gyökeres, who, despite being physically strong, lacked the explosiveness and depth to consistently outrun Danny Vivian. In one clear example, Merino attempted a well-timed vertical ball in behind, exploiting the space left by Athletic's advanced line. Gyökeres got in front of Vivian initially, but his lack of acceleration allowed the defender to recover and restrict him to a low-quality shooting opportunity. Recognizing this structural and personnel limitation, Mikel Arteta adjusted by introducing Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. Their inclusion added both vertical threat in transition and depth occupation against Athletic Club's high line. Martinelli's pace in behind and Trossard's intelligent movements between the lines immediately gave Arsenal more variety and threat in exploiting the spaces behind the defense. Let's take a closer look at Gabriel Martinelli's goal, which serves as a perfect example of Arsenal's counter-attacking threat. The sequence began with Athletic Club goalkeeper Unai Simon launching a long ball deep into Arsenal's half. However, the pass failed to find its intended target, as Mosquera's attempted header only redirected the ball loosely. Declan Rice reacted quickly, rising to flick the ball forward into the path of Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli. With intelligent awareness, Trossard immediately played a first-time vertical pass into the space behind Athletic Club's defensive line. This precise one-touch action completely bypassed Athletic's midfield and backline, leaving Martinelli free to exploit the open channel. Martinelli, with his pace and sharp timing, latched onto the ball and drove forward before calmly finishing to break the deadlock in the 72nd minute. Arsenal's performance against Athletic Club was a balance of tactical discipline and intelligent adjustments. From their compact pressing structure in the 4-4-2 to the flexible attacking rotations with fullbacks and midfielders, and finally Arteta's game-changing substitutions of Trossard and Martinelli, every detail played a part in securing the victory. The match showed how Arsenal could adapt both in and out of possession, neutralizing Athletic Club's high press while exploiting their high defensive line at the decisive moments. That's it for this tactical breakdown. If you enjoyed the analysis, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, drop a comment with your thoughts, and of course, subscribe to the channel for more football tactical insights.